G'day guys, how's it going? My name's Big Pup, and today I'll be featuring one of the best free-to-play Pokemon in the game, that being Excadrill. If you like my content, please like the video, it helps me out a ton, and if you want, subscribe. And without any further delay, let's hop into the battles, and let's have some fun. Heading straight into the first match with our Excadrill into a Ho-Oh. I consider this a bit of a neutral matchup. Obviously those Incinerates are absolutely melting us into a pile of steel goop, but our Rock Slides have the potential to hit super hard, absolutely decimating the Ho-Oh. In comes the first Rock Slide. That, as I expect, gets the shield. We will throw up the first shield, expecting the Sacred Fire. They actually throw the Brave Bird, so now they're debuffed. We're farming up. The thing about versing an Incinerate user is you really have to time your fast moves. I tend to throw just as the Incinerate finishes, just to sneak in as many mud shots as possible. Anyway, we get to the third Rock Slide. Down goes Ho-Oh, so we win that. Only having to use one shield while grabbing two. They come in with Dialga, finish off the Excadrill, and we have Rayquaza. Dialga's definitely a bit of a hard matchup for our backline. Neither one of our Pokemon want to verse that Steel Dragon. Obviously, Rayquaza is absolutely getting shredded by the Dragon Breaths. Kyogre can't hit for any sort of super effective damage, so obviously not an ideal situation. We switch into Kyogre, comes in Zacian. I'm assuming they're running Wild Charge, just because we have Kyogre on the squad. In comes the Play Rough, so not the Wild Charge there, but they could still be running it. There are some Zacians running Play Rough and Wild Charge, but we'll see. In comes the first Surf, that almost takes down the Zacian. Two more Waterfalls. If we can survive this move here, our second Waterfall will register. Down goes Zacian. In comes Dialga. We have a Residual Surf ready to go, ready to throw at Dialga. That almost takes it down. 1, 2, 3 more Waterfalls. Good game to my opponent. Skipping into the next match with our Excadrill into a Zacian. This is again a bit of a neutral lead. We can really spam out these hard-hitting drill runs like an absolute beast, but they do have the potential to have close combat, which will absolutely pound our mole into the ground. We're going to throw the first drill run. I'm hoping this lands or does grab a shield. It lands, does some serious damage, gets them into the high yellow. We will shield up here, expecting the close combat, and then we switch into Rayquaza, expecting them to blind throw the second close combat. We predicted right. In comes a close combat that does not very effective damage. Unfortunately, they have a Dialga laying in the back, ready to take down our Rayquaza, but not before we get off the first Breaking Swipe. In comes the Breaking Swipe, does a decent amount of damage, plus the debuff. Now we feel very comfortable to come back in with our Mole and start taking down the Time Dragon. In comes the Iron Head, we call the bait. Now we're at 2 drill runs. This first drill run should be grabbing the shield, and then we'll have the second one to take down the Dialga. Doesn't grab a shield, so they're going to place all of their bets on the Zacian, all the eggs in the one basket. In comes the drill run that grabs the second shield. Now we're at a 1-to-1 shield scenario, and we switch into Kyogre, hoping to catch a close combat. In comes the close combat, so I'm glad I caught that onto the Kyogre, and they have a Reshiram in the back. These Dragon Breaths are doing some nice kind of constant pressure onto the Kyogre, but our Waterfalls are actually doing a surprising amount of damage for only a neutral fast move. In comes the first Surf. This should be doing a nice amount of damage to the Reshiram. Can we farm down? We luckily managed to farm down. I think that was the game-saving play. If we didn't farm all the way down there, I think we would have lost. But because we had that Surf loaded, we're able to grab that last shield, quickly switch into Excadrill, and then finish the job with the drill run. Good game to my opponent. Straight into the next match with our Excadrill into a Dragonite. This is a pretty good matchup. Obviously, it's become a lot worse since the addition of Superpower into Dragonite's move pool, but we still do have our hard-hitting Rock Slides to fight back. In comes the Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, we fall for the bait. We overfarmer about 2 Rock Slides. We're going to start chucking these Rock Slides out, hopefully grabbing some shields. Doesn't grab a shield, but does some serious damage. This will KO the Dragonite if they choose to no shield. They choose to shield, which is really good for us. We want to start taking down those shields to open things up for our backline. Obviously, Rayquaza has the Hurricane, which can hit things really hard, and then Kyogre has the Blizzard for any dragons. So if we get rid of all these shields, that will allow those hard-hitting moves to reach. Now we're at a 1-to-0 shield advantage. We switch into Rayquaza. We're going to shield up just in case it's the Dragon Claw. It's the Dragon Claw, and we should be able to Dragon Tail all the way down. We have a nice little reserve of energy, just enough for a Breaking Swipe. We want to start debuffing this Melmetal, just so these Rock Slides don't hit as hard as they would have. We managed to get to a second Breaking Swipe, so now there'll be 2 stages debuffed, but unfortunately Rayquaza is so squishy that 1 Rock Slide probably will KO. On that note of Rayquaza, are you guys super excited for Mega Rayquaza? I'm so hyped. I've got this level 50 best buddy Hundo ready to go, and I can't wait to hit up some friends of mine and showcase Mega Rayquaza in the Master League. It's going to be such a fun time. Be looking for that in the future. Anyway, back into the matches. We have two Apex Predator whales splashing it away at each other. In comes the Surf. That does a nice little chip damage to the fellow non-shiny Kyogre. In comes another Surf. Does about the same. We are slightly higher level than them, so probably means we're beating them in CMPs. But this mirror match is pretty non-eventful. We are at 2 Surfs now. We're going to throw the first Surf, and then I think in my head I'm hoping I can farm down with Waterfall and have a Surf ready to go for whatever comes in next. We successfully achieve our initiative. It's the Melmetal. We're going to throw out the Surf, hopefully do a nice little amount of damage. Almost takes out the Melmetal. Can we farm down? Good game. Heading straight into the next match with our Excadrill into a Dialga. This is the piece to the resistance of leads. If you're running the Excadrill mole in the Master League, you want to see these Dialgas. And on a side note, this is the reason I'm running Excadrill. I kept trying to run different teams and I just kept running into that Time Lord. It kept foiling my plan, so I said, you know what? I'm putting the Steel Mole on the squad, and now we're seeing those results. Anyway, they come in with their own Excadrill, and unfortunately, it just gets absolutely walloped by Kyogre, and Excadrill does not want to see a Kyogre. That's like seeing a tsunami. It's just a no-go. We throw out the Surf, does a pretty abysmal amount of damage, if I'm being honest, but we have the Steel Assassin in the back to take down this Time Lord. In comes the first Drill Run, that grabs a shield. They switch into Mewtwo, hoping we don't have an answer, but we do. We have Rayquaza. We're breaking swiping away. We are going to debuff this first Side Strike, I assume, but it's the Ice Beam. Great to see some spice. That would have absolutely annihilated a whole pack of Rayquazas. What would you call a group of Rayquazas? I'm going to say a murder of Rayquazas. They're kind of like a crow, I guess, like a dragon crow. I don't know. What would you guys call a group of Rayquazas? Comment down below. Anyway, we let the Ice Beam go because we want to have a shield left. I think they concede. Good game. Trudging into the next match with our Excadrill into a Shadow Mewtwo. Best buddy at that. They quickly retreat into a Kyogre. We want to get out of that matchup as soon as possible, and we have the perfect response in Rayquaza. Because of our Dragon typing, pretty much all of Kyogre's moves are resisted. Obviously, if they build up to that Blizzard, that would absolutely decimate us, but I'm just assuming they're going to throw the Surf. We no-shield that, there's no reason to, plus they're debuffed, and we're in a great position to just farm all the way down. Just, you know, loading up on energy for whatever's going to come in next. In comes the second Surf. We absorb that like an absolute unit. Rayquaza showing unusual bulk. They come in with Dialga. We're at 2 Breaking Swipes. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to reach the second, but we do get the first one off, debuffing the Dialga in the process. We come in back with Excadrill. They retreat into their Mewtwo, and we have a great response in Kyogre. Kyogre's not a great response. I kind of take that back, but those Waterfalls are doing some heavy damage to a Shadow Mewtwo. Plus, we do have 2 shields, so we're in a great position to just shield up those Side Strikes and just start chipping away with the Waterfalls. We haven't used a shield yet. I think we will throw up a shield, just shielding that Side Strike, and we're going to try and Waterfall all the way down. I think we do throw up the second shield here. No, we don't. We no-shield the Side Strike. We're leaving it all up to Excadrill. We're going to over-farm. We're about 2 Drill Runs. They should be grabbing the shield. I think they have a shield left. No shields on their end. Oh, they do have a shield on their end. We need to reach 2 Drill Runs, and this should be winning us the match. In comes the first Drill Run. I guarantee this will be grabbing the shield. Grabs the shield. We're at the second Drill Run, and that secures the match. Good game to my opponent. In comes the Drill Run. Down goes Dialga. Good game. On to the next match with our Excadrill into a Groudon. Unfortunately, this is a really bad lead for Excadrill. The Fire Punches do an amazing amount of damage, so we retreat into our Purple Whale. We're waterfalling away, we're building up to the Blizzard. I think we'll throw a Surf as a bait. We're only expecting the Iron Head here, but that still would put us in a really bad range with a few more Dragon Breaths, and we're going to full send the Blizzard. Can this land? Please send this Dialga back to the Ice Age. Unfortunately, they shield up, which is lucky for them. We do manage to get another Surf off while they're trying to farm us all the way down, so that is okay with us. One more Waterfall, and they have loads of energy. Big call here. Are they going to throw the Draco? Are they going to throw the Iron Head? We're betting on the Iron Head. It's the Iron Head, so that works out great in our favor, and we should be able to pretty much farm all the way down. In comes the second Iron Head. We know it's an Iron Head because they already threw their energy. Back comes in Groudon, and we're going to start sending off these Drill Runs. In comes Drill Run number 1. That does a nice amount of damage. We switch into Rayquaza, hopefully catching the Fire Punch. I assume they're not going to throw up Precious Blades for a Excadrill on its last little bit of life. We're Dragon Tailing away. We should be able to farm up heaps of energy. We're not going to shield up here. There's no point. Even if it's a Precious Blades, it is resisted. And we farm all the way down. What's going to come in next? It's a shiny Mewtwo, best buddy. And we start Breaking Swiping away, lowering its attack. In comes the first Breaking Swipe. That grabs a shield. We're at 1.5 Breaking Swipes. We're going to throw the second one, debuff them even further. and two more Dragon Tails. We get to the third one. Unfortunately, they switch into the Dialga, which was on a sliver of health, if I do recall correctly. So unfortunately, they caught that Breaking Swipe. If I was a bit more patient with my energy, I could have just thrown one more Dragon Tail. But, oh, so close. We do get to the Drill Run, but we lose CMP. In comes the Psy Strike. Can Rayquaza finish the match? Not quite. Old trusty Mewtwo, the OG king of the Master League, strikes again. Good game to my opponent. Moving things along here with our Excadrill into a Dragonite. So as I said earlier, this isn't the worst matchup in the world, but if they do manage to land a superpower, that absolutely destroys our Excadrill. So they realize they don't really want to debuff themselves, so they retreat into a Kyogre. We're going to switch into Rayquaza. Again, as I said earlier, this is a brilliant matchup for us. They can't do anything super effective to us, and by the time they reach the Blizzard, I can just shield that up, and I've also debuffed them probably 2 or 3 times. We get to the second Breaking Swipe, but we are going to try and farm all the way down. We're not stressing about this Surf. It's not going to KO. We still have a healthy amount of energy. In comes the Dragonite. We're going to send off this Breaking Swipe, debuff them, and put them in a position where they're going to want to switch out. We almost get to the second Breaking Swipe. I don't think we're going to shield up here. We're going to save our shields for the backline. Back comes in Excadrill. We have heaps of energy. 2 Rock Slides to be precise. In comes the first Rock Slide. That knocks down the Dragonite. And now we're in a very comfortable position here. We can grab the rest of the shields of Excadrill, switch into Kyogre, and just absolutely shock this Ho-Oh. In comes the second Rock Slide. This should be taking the second shield, grabs the second shield. Now we send in Kyogre to finish the job. 2 shields. This pretty much is over with. In comes the Sacred Fire. We no-shield that, and they retreat. Good game to my opponent. Heading into the next match with our Excadrill into another Groudon. So as I said before, this is a terrible matchup for us. Even the Fire Punches are doing loads of damage, so we switch into Kyogre. They switch into a nice, beautiful looking shiny Lugia, and by the CP it looks like it has the exact same IVs as mine, so, you know, kudos to you, sir. We're going to build up to the Blizzard, throw the Surf. I'm hoping they think this is a Blizzard. Please shield this, please take the bait. Unfortunately, they don't take the bait, so I should have just full sent the Blizzard. But what can you do about that? We're going to send off the second Surf, apply some nice pressure, get them into the low red, sneak one more Waterfall through. We'll shield this up, so the Waterfall will register, and we'll see if we can farm all the way down. We do successfully manage to farm all the way down. We have a Surf loaded for this Dialga. The Dialga's not stressing at all. It's unbothered. Does an abysmal amount of damage. And what will we come in with next? We'll come in with the Excadrill because we resist the Dragon Breaths. They switch into the Groudon, and we've just made the perfect alignment for this win. In comes Precipice Blades, does some resisted damage. We're building up heaps of energy against this Groudon. There's really no need to shield here. Even if it's another Precipice Blades, it's not going to be doing any threatening damage. We still have loads of health. We can farm all the way down, almost all the way down. We will expend a shield here. We have way too much energy to waste. One more Dragon Tail. They have the Dialga in the back with 2 shields. We're going to start sending off these Breaking Swipes. It's our only hope of a win here. In comes the first Breaking Swipe. That grabs a shield. In comes the second Breaking Swipe. This will be debuffing them, and there's no way for them to change it. Now, we're at a third Breaking Swipe, but we don't get there. It doesn't matter though. I think we're in a great position here. Even if they get to a Draco Meteor, they are 2 times debuffed, and we're pretty much at 2 Drill Runs. In comes the Draco Meteor. We comfortably survived that. We've reached our win con of 2 Drill Runs, and this should be securing the match. In comes the first Drill Run, grabs the shield. In comes the second Drill Run, and that should be a good game to my opponent. In comes the Drill Run, good game. Moving things along here with our Excadrill into a Melmetal. This is another lead that's really ideal, just like a Dialga. Pretty much any steel type for Excadrill is a great matchup. Although they are very spammed with the Thunder Shock and superpowers and the potential to bait with a Rock Slide, we do feel very confident with our Drill Runs. We're going to throw up a shield, expecting the superpower. They go for the superpower, they retreat into Mamoswine, and Mamoswine just saw its worst nightmare. Kyogre is waterfalling away. We are not threatened by the high horsepower. It does a decent amount of damage, I'll give it that, but these waterfalls are absolutely just crushing that Mamoswine into the earth. Unfortunately, Mamoswine has bitten the dust. What's going to come in next? It's a Dragonite. Can a Blizzard land? Please. Please land, Blizzard. It lands, takes down the Dragonite, in comes the Melmetal, good game. Skipping into the last match of the day with our Excadrill into a Kyogre. This is the terrible lead for us, so we're going to counter switch into our own Kyogre, and they retreat into a Mewtwo. Obviously, we're very threatened by these Psy Strikes. A Psy Strike from Mewtwo, or the Shadow Mewtwo, hits like a right hook from Mike Tyson, just obliterating damage. So we're going to start trying to get off as many waterfalls as possible, then throw out the Surf's threatening shields. We're about 2.5 surfs. We're going to start throwing off this energy. We don't want to overfarm too much. In comes the first surf. That grabs a shield. We're going to get one more waterfall in. We will shield up here. We're a bit forced to. We have so much energy. It would be such a waste to get rid of all this energy. 3 waterfalls, and we farm all the way down. What's going to come in next? It's a Yveltal. So we throw the surf, hoping they think this is a blizzard. We do have heaps of energy. Unfortunately, they call the bait, so I should have just full sent the blizzard and absolutely punished that Yveltal for not shielding. But we'll throw off the second surf, not grabbing a shield. This Yveltal doesn't want to shield anything today. We'll come in with Excadrill, and now we have Rayquaza to retaliate against the Kyogre. So we've managed to win the bad lead and realign, and this should be winning us the match. In comes the first Breaking Swipe. That does a good amount of damage. Rayquaza just has an overwhelmingly dominant matchup against Kyogre. You know, it's the reason it's the king of the weather trio. It's the one that comes down and says to Kyogre, "Oi, stop misbehaving." It says to Groudon, "Oi, get into line, champ." You know, it keeps them in line. You know, Rayquaza, it deserved Breaking Swipe, and I'm really hoping that Dragon Ascent is an amazing move. It deserves it. Anyway, we're able to get to the rock slide. This should be securing us the win. Or do they have a shield left? No, they don't. Good game to my opponent. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I can 110% recommend investing in an Excadrill. It's one of the best free-to-play Pokemon, especially for the Master League, and you won't regret it. If you like my content, please like the video and subscribe. And until next time, have a good one.